Is King Thor's single greatest battle not with any villain, but with the spirit inside his own hammer? Well, let's hop into the pages of Thor issue number 21 and 22 and find out together, shall we? So then, picking up directly from where the last issue left off, Thor was on the trail of the thief that had stolen Mjolnir, his beloved hammer, only here's the thing. This was not the work of some mystery villain trying to undo Thor for a change. Oh no, the living tempest, the mother storm inside the hammer is the one responsible for the hammer going missing. And now it seems like whatever unseen score there is to settle between hammer and master are ready to be meted out here. Thor almost gets drowned by the damn thing when it lands on his chest and he's unable to wield it. In an act of some very good quick thinking on behalf of the King of Asgard, he manages to dissolve all the water around him and save his life. Sadly, he's a lot less lucky later on when the Tempest ends up breaking his arm. You know, a different arm than the one he lost in the Aaron run, but seriously, King Thor cannot catch a break when it comes to his arms, can he? Of course, this all begs the very important question, and that is why exactly is the Tempest turning against Thor right now after so many years of loyal service? Well, essentially, the spirit inside Mjolnir says that she's sick of all of King Thor's crap, that she's been with him for so long, for years in adventures that he himself cannot even remember thanks to retconning, and that she just refuses to do this repetitive dance anymore, being a hero, being a king, fighting villains, getting depowered, getting repowered over and over again ad nauseum. Oh, so the Tempest is a certain sort of comic fan, you mean to tell me? Moreover than that, though, the hammer is particularly pissed that Thor never saved it when Jane Foster threw it into the sun. It had to regrow itself and then go back to Thor like a spurned lover. Speaking of saving, and thankfully King Thor doesn't have to do all of this on his own. Odin, his father, comes to try and protect him from the hammer, which is not exactly a huge fan of the man that bound it in the first place. Heck, even Sif does her part too, opening up the Rainbow Bridge and trying to transport the rampaging storm to the farthest reaches of the universe. Only here's the problem though, if you know your Thor factoids, then you know when Mjolnir wants to be, it's so damn fast it can clear damn near the entire universe in seconds, and that's exactly what it does, taking out Odin in the process. This is horrifying, but after that act of brutality, it all finally starts to make sense for Thor. The hammer really isn't acting on its own accord right now. Oh sure, its feelings are valid, but they are being poisoned, corrupted, and amplified by the spirit of Mangog, who you will remember Jane Foster Thor killed when she threw the hammer into the sun. When the hammer was rebuilt, a bit of the Mangog soul managed to get inside the Tempest, and because of that, this great weapon has now turned on not only Thor, but all of the Asgardians. Now, as issue 22 begins, the cavalry comes in the form of Beta Ray Bill, who rallies together some of Thor's greatest allies from across the Marvel superhero world. Particularly, I enjoy the nice attention to detail that Bill is using the Sword of Cinder that he got over in his excellent Daniel Warren Johnson miniseries. Spider-Man is also clearly Ben Reilly because he's the one running around in the Spider-Man book currently. Wolverine is there, yet he has a yellow costume that looks nothing like what he's wearing currently. I only bring it up because I think it's funny that the artist has so much attention to detail in one or two aspects, but not in another. The united forces of the heroes do everything in their power to try and help Thor deal with the Tempest threat, only here's the thing, Thor doesn't feel they should. This is his problem, his family's great sins coming back to bite them in the ass. And on top of everything else bad that's been going on for him since this series began, he positively wouldn't be able to live with himself if someone were to die cleaning up his own mess. So in an attempt to trap the spirit of Mjolnir and keep the other heroes at bay, Thor ends up doing something really unexpected. He calls on the power of his mother, Gaia. Yes, you heard me right, Gaia, despite all that talk in the last few issues about who is Thor's real mother. Is it Freya? Is it the Phoenix Force? Yeah, it's actually neither of them, because the events of that Thor Empire tie-in that never actually got released are apparently still canon. Thor manages to trap the Tempest inside a giant energy cyclone so they can finally be alone for their big one-on-one. It's here that the spirit of the hammer actually ends up revealing some rather interesting tidbits of information. Apparently, the hammer has actively been trying to undermine Thor and ruin his reign as king for a long time now. It was the hammer that helped get Donald Blake released from his dream realm, which is actually a hell of a revelation because it means Thor isn't some lackluster mad king at all. There's actively been a force force that's been working against him in the shadows this whole time. Hell, not just him either. The Mangog and the Tempest are just as mad at Odin, one for destroying their entire people and one for bounding its endless spirit to a hammer. It's perhaps fitting then that Odin actually always held the keys to defeating this threat all along. You see, here's the thing. When Thor assumed the throne of Asgard, he was given access to the Odin force, only here's the thing. Odin being Odin didn't actually give his son full access to all the power. He was keeping most of it for himself for admittedly a sympathetic reason. He wanted to remain virile and strong enough to try and win back his lost wife, and he knew he wouldn't be able to do it without the Odin force. But now that the chips are truly down and their backs are against the wall, Odin makes the ultimate sacrifice, ending his own life so he can transfer the rest of the Odin force into Thor, supercharging him to levels never thought possible. And as the comic comes to a close, King Thor ends up fully tapping into this newfound Thor force, hoping that it will finally give him the edge to vanquish his hammer once and for all. And so there you have it, everyone. Thor issue number 21 and 22. I really gotta take my hat off to Donny Cates doing an excellent job bridging the gap between a bunch of different Thor stories over the last 10 years. I like that the Tempest is actually given physical form and a personality and wants and needs. I love the retcon with the Mangog spirit surviving just enough from its battle with Jane. I like that Thor is showing that he is a threat to be reckoned with even without his trademark weapon. He has so many other skills and powers to call upon when needed. Hell, I dare say this ended up being one of the strongest Odin stories in a long time. We see him try and protect his son, saying that he is his greatest creation, but ultimately Odin is very human despite being a god. He has fears and inadequacies that he was trying to make up for, even if it meant hurting his family more. Overall, I'd give this one a very positive 8.5 out of 10, and I cannot wait to see the big action-packed finale for all of this.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cave Jewel, and if you're seeing me right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, which I am very appreciative of. It really helps drive engagement and retention and all that other good YouTube stuff. So does liking and commenting. Wink wink. If you like my content too, you should check out my Patreon page. We just redid all the tiers, so there's a ton of great rewards. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, and well, it would just really help me out. It's never expected, but always appreciated. So until next time everyone, I've been Cape Joel, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.